My name is Tan. I'm from Kuantan. I'm a grandfather now, and I'm also retired. I was happily retired until lynas came to Kuantan. Now, what makes me here, what drives me here is that because lynas is in Kuantan. Now, we had an incident, similar industry before in Malaysia, that is in a town in the western coast called Bukit Merah. I think you can read a lot about it from the website as well as our website. And then we were very fearful because the plant that we have now in my neighborhood is built in a reclaimed peat swamp land, and it's surrounded by swamp. And every year we have 3 months of monsoon. And actually something happened last year. While this plant was under construction, one of the contractors was marooned right in the middle of the plant because the whole place was flooded. Sometimes we can have such heavy monsoon rains, it can rain for almost a whole day. And then there's a holiday resort called Hyatt Regency in Kuantan. You know what is the catch of their advertisement? They say that if you stay in our hotel and if the rain continues on for 8 hours, we will not charge you for that day. And it has happened before. Now this plant is 10 times the size of what we had in Bukit Merah in the west coast of Malaysia. I definitely don't want to stay close to this plant. Number one, it is built in such a ecologically sensitive area that whatever waste, whatever little thorium contained in the waste, will eventually leak into the underground water, and it may end up on the food chain. I definitely don't want my grandchildren to eat any of the food that is caught and produced in the nearby area. This is what I'm worried about. That's why I'm here.
My name is Fore. I'm a veterinary surgeon. I run my own practice in Kuantan. I actually escaped Kuala Lumpur. I was in Kuala Lumpur, doing my practice there for 6-7 years. I wanted to go back to a small little town, peaceful town, to raise my family. I've got 2 boys now, 9-year-old and 6-year-old. Okay, I bring them to the beach. We've got beautiful beach, blue sky, blue water, beautiful white sandy beach. I bring them during the weekends to run on the beach, swim in the sea. Yeah. I wanted to raise my family in this peaceful little town. I've been back in Kuantan for 8 years now, and for this trip, I need to close my practice for 10 days. I'm a single person, single vet practice. What does it mean? If I'm here, nobody's going to take care of the practice. What drove me here? There must be some very strong motivation behind it. I'm a vet, okay? Right? I use CT scan, I use X-ray, I can Google, I can get information from all over the world. I know about internal radiation. I know about external radiation. I know about thorium. Okay? Some basic kind of principle, you just cannot deny. If knowing more about this plant in Kuantan, okay? Knowing my country, I grew up in Malaysia. I've traveled to Australia and got some education and so on. I've traveled around the world. Okay, I know about governments. I can compare governments. I can compare the transparency between access to information. In Australia, I just Google. I can get information which plant has been built where. EIA and so on. I can get those information. But in terms of land, can you believe that it was only people started making noise, then only was the EIA available. Yeah. Certain reports was not even put on the internet. What was their reasoning? They say there's no whatever internet facilities and so on. They refuse to put it on the internet. That is how difficult it is. That is how non-transparent this type of project can be in my country. When you don't have transparency, when you have lots of bribery going on, when you don't have accountability, such industry which will release so much of waste, into the environment is not suitable. It's just not suitable to have high-risk kind of industry in this country. Furthermore, with what Mr. Tan said just now, the location of the factory, yeah, being in a swampy land with a natural river just flowing a few kilometers away from, beside the factory, and with 600, 700,000 people staying within 30-kilometer radius of such a factory. I'm worried, okay? My practice is only 10-15 minutes drive away from this plant, which is being built right now. 10-15 minutes, okay? There are fishing villages just nearby. And the building of this plant, right from the beginning, has been, shrouded in secrecy, really, right? The MMA, Malaysian Medical Association, right, they have come up with strong press statement, right? The Bar Council of Malaysia has come up with strong statement, asking the government to look into, this project again, right? These two professional bodies, they are very, very worried about the planning of the setting up of such a factory in Gavin. Yeah. Now, public consultation to us, lynas has been saying in their webpage and so on, say that they have been, doing lots of public consultation with the local people. But, this group of people here, until now, we have not been consulted. None of these, lynas people has actually come forward and talked to us. Hey, what are your concerns and so on and so forth. Okay, this is my feeling, and we are not against rare earth. Okay, we are not against iPod and all. We are against the setting up of LAMP in Gavin, or maybe even anywhere in Malaysia, because of the weak environmental law, because of the lack of access to information. Yeah, I think those are important, strong important points that it's enough for the people to rise up, come to Australia, and tell you about this. Yeah, thank you.
I've been living in Kuantan for the last 31 years. Okay, I have a family, and I work nearby the plant that I built for about 20 years. I'm a chemical engineer by profession, and been working in the chemical plants, dealing with wastewater treatment plant and the processes. As I start to get to know land, which is lynas, and they want to set up a plant in Kuantan only recently as well. It was there's some talk about a plant going to set up in Kuantan, in Gaping area 2 years ago, which had a bit of radioactivities material that contained in the process. And that's about all. Very little, and in fact, there's no much of engagement with the public at all. So it's only until recently, in March, when the New York Times reported about the incidents in Japan and related to lynas, which don't set up plant in Kuantan. Only we start to get into a bit more technical, look into the EIA report, which lynas have provided to the Malaysian government, and looking at the whole process. As background from the technical background, I start to get nervous as well. Looking at the whole process, I get a bit technical as well. Here is the whole process involved a lot of hazardous chemical. For a 60,000 tons plant that they will process in Kuantan, they will use 500,000 tons of chemical. And all this chemical actually will end up where? In 3 waste streams. 1 in the waste gas, 2 in the wastewater, 3 in the solid waste. And in the EIA, they claim that everything is okay. From a chemical standpoint, I think if you know chemical process, nothing is 100%. Nothing is 100% efficiency. And in the plant environment, everything on the paper sometimes look very good. In order for you to get the government approval, as you start to run the plant, that's where Dr. Pu has said, lack of environmental law enforcement by the authority that get you into trouble. I ran a chemical plant before. I know what it can go wrong. And for this size of plant, the biggest in the world, when it go wrong, it can go very wrong. Being in a very sensitive area, close to the big populations. And for example, in Western Australia, water is very important and very scarce, very difficult to come by. And for this plant to run, a day of water consumption is enough for 60,000 people a day in any town. The equivalent of water consumption a day equal to consumption in this plant will be enough for 60,000 people a day's usage. It's huge. And that water eventually end up where? In a wastewater treatment plant. If that processes doesn't run well, a day will be 12,000 tons of water into the river and into the sea. And they claim that it's free of radioactive material, which I think right now, no one can confirm that. That's something that we are worried as well. Same thing with the waste gas. 100,000 normal meter cubes. Some of you might not visualize how much is huge. 100,000 meter cubes, if you were to imagine. And a waste gas, the whole process would require a very stringent sort of process. And can it be 100% all the time? It would not. Definitely would not. I can guarantee you. But the thing is, lack of environmental law and lack of enforcement regulations and enforcement, we would not want to take the risk of having that plant in that area. That's why we are here. That's why I'm here as well. To let you know, we do not want to take any chance. That's all. Thank you.
2 years ago, when I was in Shell Malaysia, I was transferred to Kuantan in the mid-80s. I took my first drive along the east coast from Kuantan to Kota Baru, which is near to the Thai border. And along the way, the place called slightly outskirts of Kuantan, there is a very beautiful village. It's a very scenic seaside village. It was so, just green, beautiful that I stopped my car and I alighted and took some photographs of that beautiful village. And at the back of me, a tourist parked his car behind me, and he came out and he took his camera and he took some photos. So I asked this guy, this Caucasian, and he said he's from Australia. And he said that he has been to the Gold Coast, being an Aussie, and he has never seen such a beautiful, scenic village. And this is the beauty of the east coast of Malaysia. I always remember what he said, because I was shocked. At that time, I have not been to Australia. And coming over here, you see, you all have kept very well, all the things, your pictures, beautiful too. But what is going to happen now is what we have will not be, we will not be able to preserve with all these toxic plants, radioactive, waste, leaking all over the place. Because this pollution, right, is going to go by thousands of kilometers, hundreds or thousands of kilometers. And imagine the discharge through this bulk river, which is in Gebeng, Kuantan. The amount of discharge, the effluent is so huge that they have to deepen the river. And for the amount of water coming out, the whole coastline in the east coast of Malaysia, including this beautiful village Marang, right, in Terengganu, will be destroyed. The habitat, the fishing, the ecosystem, the fishing habitat, even the human habitat, right, all will be destroyed. And looking at it, right, we, the concerned citizens of Kuantan, right, we want to appeal, to your Australians that, right, we do not want our generations to come, to have suffered from leukemia or all this cancer caused by all this radioactive fallout, which is actually prevalent in an industry like this. And that is why we, we came. This is the second trip, right? Within 2 months, we were in Sydney and Canberra and Albury for a while to campaign, and we are also campaigning here now, hoping that what you all want for your livelihood, your family, right, is very similar to what we want. Because we want a safe environment, a healthy environment, right, to live in, to bring up our family, and to grow old gracefully, right? So we hope that this rare earth, right, will not leave your country. Will not leave your country. Because what you all will be doing, not you, this company will be doing, it is actually dumping the waste in my country. They take the alloy out and leaving the waste behind. And this waste, there's no permanent solution. Even China, there was an interview. The scientist, one of the early founders of this rare earth alloy, there was an interview in Bauto. He claimed, he admitted, until today, he has no solution for the waste. And China is suffering today for all the sins they have done, this greed that they have, with the so-called, reaping on, in Inner Mongolia. And that the farmers suffered. They just compensated them. But what is money if the children suffers from leukemia? The pain the children goes through, right? The amount that of suffering the family have to bear. So we hope that you'll consider seriously, right, to help us to stop lynas in its turn. Right, thank you.
I'm a mother, and I'm worried about my family and my children and my next generations. That's why I'm here. My objective, my motive here is very simple. Yeah, I'm worried about my family. Okay? Alright, I hope y'all can help.